Open the laundry door to come in, and this fella's chilling out next to the lock. I'm glad the lock missed him. Jeez. How are you this morning? Eh? You're the smaller of the two. Eh? Yeah, I can still see you. Midday, and I've got, that's the notch for where the aircon piping is, and this is the top, which I'm going to have multiple coats on, and I've already done the edges. This takes about half an hour to get touch dry. I'll give it a little bit longer, flip it over, do the underside, then when that's dry I can flip it back over and do another coat on the top, which will make it waterproof like a pond. So that's now been coated on both sides, and that's the second coat on the top. This is the top side, so it's got to go up there. This is 4 foot wide, or 1200 wide. The distance from the wall to the end is about 1240, I think. And I was thinking I could either trim those off or put a strip across the front. And I've decided to put a strip across the front, because if I trim those off, then the water would run off and hit the railing, which was what we were trying to avoid. So you can see how they kind of stick out just a little bit further than that railing. I've got a cup rail to put on there too. Should do that. Not sponsored, but if you're ever looking for a tough workhorse tool, these Bosch Professional 18 volts. I was just up there and trying to hook that onto the back of my back pocket of my jeans before coming down the ladder. I missed. It fell, bounced, hit the ground and landed over there. Not a crack on it. You can see where it landed on the ground. That's why they're classed as a professional quality tool. If you've ever heard the term relative dimensioning, this is an example of that. I use the tape measure to get the total length of this, to get my position between the posts, because this needs to come back just over here. So I've got to cut out, I just set this here, line it up with the very end of the beam underneath it. Just run a pencil line up both sides like that. Now I can take that down and finish marking that out, chop it out with the jigsaw. That all just appeared. Sort of blew over, and there was a flash of lightning and thunder, and I was up the ladder doing that bit of the roof, that front strips. So I thought I'd better get down. It's annoying though, because I still need to seal up the back edge. This just came through. Rain parrot just went off. The storm's going to blow straight over the top. Actually, here it comes now. Starting to get windy. kind of just stopping. I need to get a new tarp. I hit that bucket yesterday. This is not in the forecast today at all. Yeah, that's loud. And apparently the lightning strike caused a bushfire that's out of control on the other side of the gully over that ridge. So I'm here kind of fingers crossed. With this rain was also helping that, because I thought I heard sirens and I was listening to a podcast and I had to pull it out to make sure it was here and not on the podcast and listening and making it. That last bit of little waterproofing I put up on the top wouldn't have been dry. So after that storm, I came out the front. That umbrella was lying over here and it dragged the table with it. The table was fallen over. The umbrella's broken one of the arms on it. It's like a wind-up umbrella. The cover on the other side was just full of water. I had fun trying to get that out of it. The waterproofing has survived well. When the storm came across, I was looking for my flashing to go across there, so the flashing's not done, so the water ran down behind there. Where I did the waterproofing across this join, that has survived. It lived up to what it should have, but the rush of water has actually taken the waterproofing out of all the screws along the front. These were the last screws I did. Like I got these ones here for this. It's the last strip. These ones got washed out. I dare say it's meant to be hot tomorrow because that's what the forecast was. I'll have to put some more waterproof across this. I'd like to do another coat across the whole thing, I think, and then get the flashing up on there, and that'll keep this secure and weatherproof until we get the asphalt shingles. Little handrail, or the drink rail, cup rail they call it. Winning well. These sawhorses, they're the very first sawhorses I've built years ago, and they've been indoors and staying nice and dry until today. Did a little bit of reorganising in here. I did manage to get the welder in down there, with the power washer in the corner, my welder up against my, well, that's my POTS welder, up against my air compressor, car jack which actually needs some work because it's not doing anything. I bought the saw table spun around, and that's so that if I just roll the lathe out of the way, I've got access to the doors, because before I had to pull the whole cabinet out because the doors were facing that cabinet. And then the lathe bench, drill bench, got this bit of space to stand around in. There's my circular saw down the bottom. There's an old whipper snipper that I don't know what I'm going to do with. Biscuit joiner and multi-tool there from work. So that's why I brought them forward, because I'll put them in the truck on Wednesday when I go back into school. And I got absolutely soaked trying to the rain stopped, it started again. But it stopped momentarily. I got soaked trying to get the water off that cabana, because it had just bellowed in like a massive big pond of water, and when I pushed up on it, it would just move along to another part of it. So I'd push up on that and it would just move, and I had to get the end folded down inside the frame so the water would just spill out and hit open, and then fix up the roof bit so that regular rain like this will just flow off it. The bushfire that was over on the other side of the gully, that now says that it's under control. The one up at where it falls, the last time I looked, said it was still out of control. And there was another one just over here, but it said it was under control really quickly. The level 4 one was a fair way away. This one on the other side of the gully was a little close for comfort because it said it was within 2 kilometres of us. But I think even if it, like the storm was blowing in that direction, so away from us, I should get that roof weatherproofed tomorrow. Can't believe I got a hole in the tarp. Kind of makes the whole thing of having the tarp out the front of the shed useless. So I actually, when the storm blew in, I ran along and just started driving some screws up into it because the big gust of wind came. I was standing here and it lifted the other side of the tarp and the water just flew in here, drenched me, ran all over my circular saw. I was like,